Welcome to today's educational podcast, where we journey back to the Women's War of 1929 in Nigeria, a pivotal event that reshaped our understanding of colonial history and women's roles. I'm excited to dive into this with my co-host.
Absolutely. It's fascinating to explore how the testimonies of these women have been revisited and reinterpreted in recent scholarship, highlighting not just resistance to colonial rule, but also the protection of their traditional Igbo political institutions.
Indeed, these testimonies, often dismissed by colonial administrations as mere riots, actually unveil complex social and political dynamics. Historian Biko Agazino emphasized that these events were deeply entrenched in defending cultural autonomy rather than simply economic grievances.
Yes, and it's important to recognize how these oral histories, when re-examined, serve as a form of empowerment. They offer public recognition to experiences that were previously silenced or misunderstood.
Oral traditions do have that unique ability to fill historical gaps, especially where written records fall short. They offer a vantage point into the hidden histories of marginalized groups, such as these Igbo women, who wielded significant influence despite colonial narratives suggesting otherwise.
That's right. The reassessment of these testimonies highlights that even traditional disciplines like anthropology and history must be adaptive. They need to incorporate methods that respect the authenticity of oral narratives and cultural contexts, rather than imposing Western interpretations.
And the role of the anthropologist or historian as a social scientist involves triangulating this oral data with other evidence to enhance the reliability of research findings. This method helps overcome biases and omissions, offering a more holistic understanding of historical context.
It's essential for accuracy and depth in historical analysis. By revising colonial narratives, scholars not only correct historical inaccuracies, but also contribute to the cultural renaissance and pride. This reclaiming of history is powerful for communities affected by colonialism.
Moreover, discussions around the Women's War of 1929 highlight the critical nature of understanding language and idioms within cultural research. Misinterpretations can skew entire perceptions of historical events.
That's an insightful point. Understanding these nuances ensures that historical narratives are not just rewritten through a lens of accuracy, but also through empathy and depth, reflecting true cultural authenticity.
In summary, revisiting the Women's War of 1929 through oral testimonies not only broadens our understanding of history, but also emphasizes the importance of cultural context in historical narratives. We've learned that the stories spoken carry the power to reshape identities and empower communities.
Absolutely, and this shows that history is not static. It's a dynamic tapestry woven from multiple voices, each adding a unique thread. Understanding and valuing oral traditions can provide a richer, more inclusive historical narrative.
So one aspect that we haven't yet touched on is how the British colonial government perceived and recorded these uprisings. Often, they labeled the Women's War of 1929 as a mere riot, dismissing the organized structure and the underlying grievances that the women brought forward.
Exactly. This misrepresentation highlights how crucial it is to counterbalance colonial narratives with local histories. These oral accounts provide insights into the sophisticated ways in which the Igbo women organized themselves and networked across regions to confront tax grievances and broader colonial oppression.
Yes, and it was groundbreaking for its time. The women's strategic use of traditional customs, like the sitting on a man, showcased their deep cultural roots. This practice essentially combined public shamming and resistance, which was quite powerful in mobilizing communities.
That's a great point. The traditions were not only cultural expressions, but also tools of political discourse and action. It's fascinating how these customs enriched their strategies, revealing the women's resilience and creativity.
Moreover, looking at how oral traditions have endured through generations, they carry the emotional and personal weight of these historical moments. They remind us that history is not just about dates and policies, but about people and their lived experiences.
And by revisiting these sources, we're reminded of the significant impact personal narratives have on historical discourse. They challenge us to rethink and reconstruct the past in a more inclusive and accurate way.
Absolutely. Another aspect I find intriguing is how the women's actions resonated beyond Nigeria, influencing other anti-colonial movements in Africa. Do you think this legacy is given adequate attention in academic circles today?
While there's growing interest, much work remains. Many narratives still lean heavily on colonial perspectives. Recognizing the influence and interconnectedness of these movements helps paint a fuller picture of African resistance against colonial rule.
Indeed, it also makes me think about how these historical interpretations can inform contemporary gender discourse. The Women's War underscores the central role of women in societal leadership and change, yet their contributions are often understated.
You're right. It's a reminder of the persistent need to elevate women's voices in history and current dialogue. Their resilience continues to inspire new generations of activists and scholars alike.
As we listen to and amplify these oral histories, they not only enrich our understanding of past struggles, but also guide us in navigating present challenges.
That's precisely it. History doesn't exist in a vacuum. These narratives are alive and continue to evolve, offering valuable lessons on resistance, identity, and community power.
And as we continue this journey of learning and unlearning, it's essential to keep seeking these voices, nurturing a comprehensive history that values all perspectives.
Undoubtedly, and as our listeners take on this endeavor, it's an opportunity to bridge past and present, fostering a deeper awareness of the diverse cultures and histories that shape our world.